Good afternoon, everybody. It's almost spring break. Now you'll notice I traded in my goggles and my lab coat for Mickey Mouse ears. All right, so what we're going to do today, we're going to do a little bit of science. We're going to talk about energy. And we're going to focus on two different types of energy, potential and kinetic energy. And there's a reason I'm going with energy. It goes along with spring break. All right, so our focus is potential and kinetic energy. What's the difference? Energy, you'll remember, we talked about this last week. It's the ability to move or cause change in matter. There are two different forms of energy that we'll talk about, and the first one is potential energy. And potential energy is the possible stored energy. So everything has the potential to move. There are two main factors that talk about potential energy: how far it is off of the ground. So we've got a ball here on the table. We've got a ball up here in the air. The ball up in the air has more potential energy than the ball on the table because it's farther away from the ground. Then we also have how much it weighs. So if I had a bowling ball sitting here beside the tennis ball, the bowling ball is going to have more potential energy than the tennis ball. Okay, so that's the difference. So potential energy can change into kinetic energy. Now, what's kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is energy that causes movement. So kinetic energy is the release of potential energy. So I've got potential energy right now, right here with the tennis ball. When I hit it, then I release that potential energy and it becomes kinetic energy. So there are a few ways that you can experiment with that at home. First of all, take some books, start with one book, and then a ramp of some kind. You can use a ruler, you can use a piece of cardboard, you can use another book. That's what I'm going to be using. And try with one book. And you're going to take your tennis ball and you're going to place it at the top of the ramp. When you're holding the ball there, or when the ball is sitting still, that's the potential energy. When you let go of the ball, you're releasing that energy, so it becomes kinetic energy. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and release the ball and see how far it rolls. So you can measure it with a measuring tape and then write down your results. Now I would do this 3 times and then get your average. So what you'll do is you'll add that up and divide it by how many times you perform the experiment. So if you do it 3 times, you're going to divide that by 3 to get your average. Okay? So I would do that, and then I want you to go ahead and I want you to try it again using another book. I'm getting a book about the same thickness, and then putting my ramp back up again. Potential energy, kinetic energy, again, measure. Do it several times. 3 is a good number, and then add it up, divide it by 3. There you've got your average. Now see which one went the farthest, with the 1 book or with the 2 books. Why do you think so? Hey, go crazy. Try it again with 3 books. Again, you've got your potential, kinetic, measure, do it at least 3 times. Now, if your ball is rolling and it runs into something, it's not going to be an accurate measurement. So I would go ahead, scrap that one and do it again. Okay? So that's a little experiment, simple experiment that you can do showing potential and kinetic energy. Now, there's also another experiment that you could do virtually. So I have on my website an area where you can click and you can actually visit some Disney rides. Now, I was really excited when I saw Space Mountain, but I totally forgot that Space Mountain is in the dark. So I don't think that this is going to go over very well with Space Mountain. So I went ahead and I got online and I tried to find some other roller coasters. So I have a link on there to virtually ride a roller coaster. And I want you to tell me in what part of the ride, first of all, tell me what roller coaster you virtually rode. And then I want you to tell me in what part of the ride do you experience the most potential energy, and what part of the ride do you experience the most kinetic energy? So what I want you to do is either text me on Remind or send me an email to let me know where you had the most potential and kinetic energy. If you ever upload anything for me, like if you do one of the Greg Heffley pictures or you do one of the science experiments, it's best to send it to me on Remind, because if you email it to me, Mrs. V isn't very tech savvy, and when she uploads it on her website, it's going to be sideways. So if you would send it to me on Remind, that would be terrific. And then also, if you send me a picture of an experiment and you are in the picture, I need you to have your parents' permission in order to upload it on the website. Another thing too, if you send me a picture of Greg Heffley, don't put your name on it, because then I can't post it, okay? There's just some privacy things that we want to honor. So I want you to remember this spring break to have fun. Try to visit Disney, try to ride some roller coasters, and I want you to keep watching and keep learning. See you after spring break.